All right, it's the Carton Show, and who is going to be the MVP? Giannis apparently thinks he's the MVP. I think we have a quote board we can put up right now from my main man. That's a walk, by the way. I believe the last 5 years I've been the MVP. Do I want a third MVP? Hell bleeping yeah, I want a third one, but I will never beg for an MVP award that I believe I deserve. So here's what's interesting, and this is on the voters, really, right? And there's an emotional aspect to voting. I think it's very, very clear, and I want to be just transparent, I do not have a vote for MVP. Mm-hmm. That being said, though, I think the men and women that do allow emotions sometimes to cloud their judgment. For example, I don't think they are willing to let Jokić win 3 consecutive MVP awards because there's been public outcry about it, right? I'm not sure if they want Giannis to win what would be his 3rd in 5 seasons. There's outcry about it, which is why Joel Embiid, who, by the way, had a terrific year. This is not a knock on his year, 33-10 and 4 assists for a big man. Plus, he shot 55% from the floor. Those are stupid numbers, especially for a center who does play great defense as well, right? Mm-hmm. But if you go all the way over to the right, and you look at Giannis's numbers, Giannis did something right there that has never been done in the history of the NBA. And that is average more than 30 points a game. Cha-ching, he's got 31.1. Average more than 10 rebounds per game. Yahtzee, he's got 11 and whatever, 0.3 or whatever it is, right? And average 5 or more assists per game. Bingo bango, he's got that. And oh, by the way, shoot over 55% from the floor. Those numbers have never been done by any player in the history of the NBA. And yet, very few people are talking about Giannis being the MVP. Now, whichever one of those guys wins it, no argument for me. They had great years. I would not give it to Jokić because he's not a great defensive player. Plus, the other guys across the board, by a teeny bit, have better offensive numbers, right? Mm-hmm. But you can't make an argument against Giannis to be the MVP. As much as I think Embiid's going to win it, and it seems like it's trending in that direction, especially if you're on like Fox Bet and you look at the odds for it, which is not a telltale of anything other than they have a good read on the situation. How do you not give it to Giannis when he's done something offensively that's never been done before?
Well, I agree with
and
Giannis.
Pardon me, I'm sorry. And they're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Best player, best team.
I agree with Giannis in everything he said. I think the number one thing is, as voters, as fans, in which I'm not a voter, obviously, but we lose excitement when we see something done over and over and over again. Regardless of how it should be or what the expectations are of a player, if we see it, we saw it with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. They keep winning. We don't want them to win anymore. You see it in any sport. You see a guy who was having a tremendous amount of success or team, right, individual success, and it's like we become numb to the fact of, oh, this guy should continue to win or be given that same accolade. That's Jokić right now. That's Giannis. Yeah. The new kid on the block is Joel Embiid. Yeah. He's had tremendous seasons, but he's never had a season like this one. And it's well-deserving of an MVP. And so when you have guys that come and emerge like that, unlike boxing, which this is one of the reasons why I love boxing, because you're not getting into a championship ring with the champ and winning by decision. You better knock him out. Yes. It better be clear-cut. That's not what we see in most sport. We see guys who now have won over and over again. LeBron James had arguments. Shaq had arguments where they could have won every single year, and it just didn't happen because other guys were having phenomenal years, and it was like you got to give somebody else a chance.
And then it also comes down to, how do you personally define the award? Are we just trying to find the best player? Okay, that's fine if that's the way you want to go. Or is it what the award's supposed to be, which is the V? The V is the most important letter of MVP because it stands for, anybody?
Valuable.
Yeah, valuable. Good job, guys. You passed the test.
Thank you.
Valuable. Thank you. So if I take Giannis off Milwaukee, they're not the 1 seed. They're not the 2 seed. They're not the 3 seed. God knows where they are with him. Now, yes, you take Joker off Denver. They're not the 1 seed. I get that part of the argument if you're going to make it. But you can't tell me that Embiid or Jokic are more valuable to their teams than Giannis is to his team, and his numbers are better, right? Mm-hmm. So he's not going to win it because I think there's an aspect of the voters who say to themselves, whether they talk collectively or not, am I going to give this guy his 3rd MVP title in the last 5 years? Am I going to give Joker his 3rd MVP title in 3 years? Mm-hmm. Or am I going to try to find some new blood who's also deserving of the award? That's why Embiid gets it.
Absolutely. Again, we become like almost bored with the same redundant repeat winner.
Right.
And it's like,
this again? Yeah, exactly. Like there's nobody else in the league? Go.
Yeah, there's an idea like, well, the Philadelphia 76ers took leaps forward this year along with Embiid, so if it weren't for Embiid's leaps forward, Philly probably
that's why I'm defeating my own argument.
Yeah.
If you take any of those guys off their team, obviously the team's not nearly as good. But Embiid's going to win it. Mm-hmm. Embiid's going to win it. It's already done. You can book it, write it down.
Probably.
As much as I'm going to wake up tomorrow, God willing, Embiid's going to win it, okay? Mm-hmm. But the argument should be made when you do something offensively that's never been done before, 30, 10, and 5, and over 55% shooting, how do you not get it? And here's what I love about Embiid. He's begging without begging. That's an art form.
Yeah.
When you come out and go, I ain't going to beg you for that award that I richly deserve and should have.
Oh, Giannis.
Giannis. Yeah. Right? That's all that is, right? Yeah. I am not going to beg you for that trophy that should be on my mantle that I've earned.
It's almost like his way of saying, well, I'm already the MVP, so I don't really need it anyway.
Yeah. Now, speaking of basketball, while we have a couple minutes here before we take a break and get back to all the Odell stuff and Aaron Rodgers stuff and Lakers stuff and Cowboy stuff and stuff is Minnesota Timberwolves, right? This will be the first time we talk about them on the show. Why? Because they're the dumbest bunch of basketball players I've ever seen in my entire life. They have made the play-in tournament. Woohoo! Let's celebrate, right? Not these knuckleheads. First, and I don't get it, first you have a sideline fight between Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson. All right, so I can walk you through what happens here. But let's just play it out. Watch what happens first visually. Here it comes. Whoa. A straight right. A straight right to the chest. And then Kyle's like, no, I'm cool. So now let me tell you what's going on here. Kyle Anderson said to Rudy Gobert, why don't you block some shots? And then Rudy Gobert said back to Kyle Anderson, why don't you get some rebounds? And then Kyle Anderson called him the B word. You call a grown man the B word, there's a good chance that guy's going to punch you. Mm-hmm. That's just a fact of life, folks. Now, here's the good part of this. Afterwards, Rudy Gobert, no joke, was sent home like he's a child.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right?
He was.
Like, no joke. Grab your stuff, go home. He called up Kyle Anderson. They smoothed it out. They're good. And he publicly apologized via social media that he was 100% in the wrong. Emotions got the best of me. Now, what emotions? You guys made it. You're the 7th seed right now. Like, so what the F? Sorry. I'm sorry. Like, what are you guys pissed about? Uh-huh. You had a great second half. You made the run.
They're healthy.
You're in the play-in tournament. What are we so upset about, right?
I mean, I never have issues with this. I think the problem is that we get to see it play out. We get to see it and play it over and over again.
Once you block a shot. Once you rebound.
All the time.
Once you block a shot, B.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can't punch a teammate on the sideline. That was Torian Prince, by the way, who's merely drinking a Gatorade. Oh, man, I got to get up now. Pushes a teammate. Yeah. Total dysfunction. I love it. All right, then, like, again, I want to be clear. Minnesota didn't lose the game and get knocked out of the playoffs, right? Minnesota's the 7th seed right now. They're playing playoff basketball. They got 2 cracks at getting into the actual playoffs, okay?
Sure do.
They're the 8th seed, pardon me. The Lakers, obviously, the 7th seed. I apologize, right? Then, this speaks for itself. There's a guy named Jaden McDaniels, not a household name yet, but a good young up-and-coming player, plays really good defense for them. Watch this. McDaniels leaving the bench.
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to throw a punch. Broke his hand.
Good Lord.
What's he pissed about? So you got two guys fighting each other. You got this lunatic punching a wall. He broke his hand. He's out for the year.
Of course.
Greg?
That was just foolish.
It's stupid.
When you saw that, and then there's another side of that video where he's like rubbing
He's like,
his
oh,
hand.
man.
I mean, I am laughing because it's dumb.
Yes.
Like, come on, man. This is youth, immaturity at its finest. Like, you cannot.
So here's what's happening now.
success like
So
that.
Gobert punches his teammate.
Yes.
McDaniels is now out for the rest of the year, all
is.
playoffs. And guess what? Tomorrow night you get to play the Lakers.
Yes,
They do. Let's go.
Now that either rallies the troops
No.
and they become a tight family overnight and they go out there and they kick the Lakers' ass,
No shot.
or the dysfunction continues and they got to live to play the winner of the 9-10 game, which is also a game that they should win. But I mean, I don't get it, man. Like, you guys have good things happening, not bad things happening, right? Total disregard for the moment, right?
And that's what separates teams like the Warriors, who have issues.
Not
but
true. I mean, Draymond Green punched a dude
He
in the
did.
face preseason.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Preseason, understanding.
By the
they're
way,
gonna
did you
get it
happen to
together.
see, I know we don't have it and it's just hitting my mind now, but when Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole,
the
the
Rudy
tweet from
Gobert
Rudy
tweet?
Gobert?
Yeah,
So Rudy
insecurity
Gobert
is
put out
loud
a
or something
tweet,
like that.
whatever it was, something silly about you're taking a shot at Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Draymond Green held that receipt.
The moment,
Yes.
the moment
Yeah.
he did it,
Yep.
insecurity is loud or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like, insecurities are very loud. Something along those lines. So Draymond, word for word, copied it and pasted it and put it out and tweeted it at Rudy Gobert yesterday.
Gold.
Yeah. And listen, NBA dysfunction is better than any other league's dysfunction.
Yes.
It's also the only sport where guys put each other down so much. Like, NFL players support one another. That's a great player. That's a great linebacker. That's this and that. NBA players, man, they hate each other.
Yeah.
They can't get enough of putting each other down. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.